Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be covering Credit Repair Cloud, how to re-import. Credit Repair Cloud 2.0 just came out, so it's a huge update, and there's a lot of things that have changed, and I know a lot of people are still experiencing some bugs and things of that nature when it's very normal when a new software comes out, you're going to encounter issues. So, of course, we have already encountered an issue with Identity IQ, which is one of the reasons why we use Smart Credit, because we get so many errors when you're using Identity IQ. So when you get this error, you want to go over to the credit monitoring that you're using. In this case, it would be Identity IQ, and you want to just verify that the information on the client's credit report is up to date. You want to look at the report history date. Now, in this case, this client's report history date is January 19th. So we want to go ahead and hit refresh now, okay? And if you're using Smart Credit, you always want to look at the last date to see if you need a refresh, because you want the latest information. So now we just refreshed that information, and now you will see that the report history date is as of today's date. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go over into Credit Repair Cloud, and we're going to re-import the credit report. So now we've gone into Identity IQ, or the credit monitoring, and we verified that the report is now up to date. It is active, and we're going to go ahead and hit re-import credit report. Okay, now it's going to connect to Identity IQ, and sometimes this does take a while, but that's very normal. So this is the re-import summary and that I'm going to actually upload, and this is basically what has transpired. So it looks like we got 23 items deleted and 3 things got added, and the last time that we did an update was January 19th. So we got a lot of inquiries that were added. Looks like this client was probably searching for a car, and we did get some inquiries deleted. The student loans are showing as positive. So we were able to get all the student loans off the credit report, but that's not always a good thing because it makes the credit age go down. So that's why I typically don't dispute student loans unless they have negative information in them. So let's go ahead and save this. We'll save it in the downloads. This is going to be the re-import summary. So we're just going through and making sure that the addresses are all correct. If you see any addresses or names or anything that is not correct, you want to just go ahead and dispute it. I would go ahead and dispute all inquiries that are not tied to an open account. So in this case, we're just going to go through and quickly tag everything. I'm going through the inquiries right now. I'm just saying, this was not authorized. Please remove it from my credit, and going through the account to see if anything else needs to be disputed. Okay, so we still have a couple collection accounts. Okay, we're going to save, and we'll be able to then see everything in the Chrome browser. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to see if I log out of here, if we can see the pending report. So let's see. These are all the items that we got deleted from this client's file. So it's a hard way to kind of look at it, but here's the list view. That was report view. Yeah, so a lot of the student loans were deleted, a lot of collections deleted, so many things deleted, but the student loans had history, so it made the credit score go down. So if you go to the dashboard now, we should see the re-import. So we do. Okay, so yeah, the credit score definitely went down. I'm going to go to the internal notes, and I'm going to put the re-import summary in here so our support staff can send it to our client. And the reason why this credit is so low is because the balances are too high. The client has a credit card that is maxed out, and he has not paid down any of it. It is completely 100% maxed out. $25,000 credit card maxed out. $25,000 credit card that I helped him obtain maxed out. So you have to be very careful with these things, because it is very enticing to use the money, but sometimes it's going to be worse if you can't pay the debt back. Okay, so you have to have a reasonable plan to be able to leverage your credit so you can continue to build wealth and buy money-making assets. So we're just kind of going through the account for the client here and seeing, what else we can work on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to generate some letters for this client. Okay, so round 2 which is going to be credit bureaus, creditors, and furnishers or collection companies. And then it's like, okay, round 2 or higher, and then credit bureau. That's who we're going to be sending it to. Okay, so I got it. All right, so we're going to select those 2 collection accounts, and we're going to save and continue. We're going to select a letter. This is going to be a credit bureau letter. And in this case, since we have the FTC and the client says that they have no idea where this came from, we're going to provide them with FTC report and proof. And then we're going to hit continue. This is now where we're going to be in our letter, sending letters. So we're now under tab 4 here, and we're going to go ahead and generate the letter that was just created. So this is going to be pending, and you can tell because it'll tell you how long ago. This is view unprinted or unsent letters, or you can view all letters. So you can select either one, right? We're going to hit next. And in this case, what we would want to do is just verify that his proof documents attached. And if he has anything else that we would need to attach, like if we are faxing it, because this is going to Equifax, then we would want to make sure that we get a copy of those items. So we're going to make sure that all items include the proof documents, because we want to send proof documents with every single letter, right? And we also want to make sure that we have the client's proof as well. Okay, so I wanted to go and download the documents. Now we're back here, and we just want to make sure that we include documents on all letters. Okay, we don't need to return address on the envelope because we're not sending these cloud mail. We're sending these via eFax. We're going to add some documents here. And again, if you want to add documents, they have to be a ping. So what we would have to do is if you have a PDF of something, it would need to be uploaded as a screenshot. So in this case, what we would do is just take a screenshot of this here, and we're going to go ahead and download it. And this is going to be, we'll just put the name of the client, 1, right? And then we'll open up the identity claim as well. And we'll go ahead and take a screenshot of that. Sometimes you might have to take several screenshots, or you might have to reduce the size so you can take a screenshot. Sometimes it'll be multiple screenshots, but the problem is you have to get all 4 corners. So now I have this here. I'm going to take a little bit of zoom out. So I'm going to start the capture, because this we do have listed on the identity theft report for the client. And this is proof 2. And then we will go ahead and do proof 3. Okay, so we got copies, PDF copies, took a screenshot of them. So now I can upload them here. So if you want to upload images, you just click the box where it says upload images, and we can upload them one at a time. So we're going to save, and we're going to add additional ones as well. Now, if you're e-faxing, you can always attach a PDF to the e-fax. And if you did not want to go that route, you could take a screenshot like I just did. Now, in this case, I'm just doing this to show you guys for the video how you would do it if you wanted to send it via cloud mail, since you can't upload the PDF. But if we're doing it via e-fax, which I plan to do for this client, we can easily upload those PDF documents to the e-fax. So that's another way to be able to do that here, because sometimes it does take a while for Credit Repair Cloud to process everything. If you don't see anything up here, you can always hit view, edit, and this is where you will add your documents. Okay, this little button right here. Now this button, since the software just came out, it does not work yet. So this button over here, add new document, this is where you want to upload your document, or upload your photo, your screenshot, okay? And hit save, and then that will process and upload that copy for you. And any type of proof that we have for the client, you want to attach it to the dispute letters. If they have a proof that they paid the bill, if they have a proof from the creditor that the information is wrong, if they have proof from the creditor that the creditor is not able to verify the account, anything that you can further prove your case, because we are building a case, then you want to make sure that that is in fact documented and attached. So we're going to go ahead and try to add some additional documents. Sometimes you might not be able to add as many as we would like. So what I'm going to do is try to add additional ones that we have, but there is a size maximum of 10 megabytes, which I'm sure you can stay under that, but I'm just kind of letting you guys know. You don't have to have super great quality. The lower quality, the lower size that it's going to be. So that's good. So we were able to get all 3 of these documents uploaded. And now what we're going to do is once we can see that they're uploaded, we're going to render a preview of the letters and of the attachments. So sometimes it does take a while to process everything. That's very normal. So just be mindful of that, guys. But we are waiting for our additional proof document to go ahead and upload. So that way everything is in one file. So if we did want to send it via cloud mail, this would be all that we would need to do. You can go ahead and send it via cloud mail and be on your way. Now, I will say that I did try out sending another client's mail via cloud mail about a couple days ago, and it has still not confirmed receipt of delivery yet. It says that it's still being processed, so I'm not sure if they are dealing with some sort of delay on their end or what. Now, we're still processing, as you can see here. So again, guys, sometimes it does take a while. So now we have all of these attached to the letter. Okay, we're going to go ahead and preview copy of the letter. We are going to be printing locally. This is done. So that looks good. It's got everything in order, maybe not exactly in order, but you definitely want to try to upload it in order, but it looks good. It's fine. It's all the information that they would need. So this is the button where you can have the return address on the letter on the envelope. So I want to unselect that because we're printing it locally. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and we're going to be printing locally. We're going to select download as a PDF. If you wanted to print it, you can, but we're going to go ahead and download it as a PDF. Once it downloads as a PDF, it's going to open in a new browser window. Okay, if it doesn't automatically open, you need to redo the process. Now, in this case, if you have your pop-up blockers on, which I do, it will not pop up. So make sure that you have your pop-up blockers off so that way the letter can actually populate, because the letter has to open up a new tab. And sometimes if you have your pop-up blockers on, it will not do that. So you see how this kind of did some weird stuff here? We did not tell it what to do. The software is very slow. And again, guys, with everything going on, the new updates, that's normal to be expected. So now the letter has populated. We're going to go ahead and hit that download button, and we'll just give this an initial. Okay, download that. We're going to go over to Humble Fax, and we are going to go ahead and compose a new fax. And since this is just going to Equifax, it's perfect because Equifax has a fax. We're going to select the client's file that we just saved. This is an eFax. We can actually attach more PDF documents. So we're actually going to attach the FTC report and the truth affidavit from the client as well, just advising that they did not give authorization for that account. And looks like, everything is uploading here. So we're going to go ahead and attach the ID report. Now, I always like to multitask. So while something is processing, if you wanted to go over to Credit Repair Cloud and go into the internal notes and start making note of it, that would be good, because you never want to waste time. You always want to make sure that you make good use of all of your time and multitask. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just add the internal note while we're waiting. We're going to add the attachment, KS. We're going to add the ID report, and we're going to add the affidavit sent via Humble Fax to the Equifax, and we're going to save. Basically, you just upload everything that you sent via Humble Fax so you have record of it. So now we just got to add one more page over here. We got the ID report. We need the affidavit. Now, normally we would require the client to sign and notarize the affidavit just because that's going to help further our case. And this affidavit, the client never returned it to us. So That's all that we have is just the affidavit that they submitted. So we are going to send that, and we're going to go ahead and send fax. Normally you would just send the dispute letters, and if you had additional proof, a screenshot, an FTC report, a police report, proof from collections that the account is paid, proof from a creditor the account is paid, proof from the creditor that they're unable to verify the account, any sort of proof further proving your case to be valid, because again, our job is to build a case against the credit bureaus so we can further prove their inaccuracies and unreasonable proceedings. So now we've got the fax in process, and we have uploaded the files to Credit Repair Cloud. Let's go ahead and just verify everything here. Everything is updated. We got the re-import summary. So now we can actually go through and generate some more letters for this client. So let's go ahead and do that. So I always like to get things out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and just exit out of Humble Fax and just use Credit Repair Cloud. So we're going to select round 2 or higher. We're going to go to the credit bureaus. We're going to select pending items, and we're going to dispute anything that we still see that's in red. Okay. Now keep in mind, when you are in fact disputing, you want to kind of group your items together. So if this is a late payment, you want to group it with other late payments. If you are disputing inquiries, keep it with other inquiries. So we can group all of our inquiries together. And if there are still inquiries on the credit report that are from prior inquiries, then we would want to dispute those and just continue to add them in. Unfortunately, this is not an update of what's actually on there and what's not. The only way to really know that is to go to the credit report and figure it out. So what we're going to have to do to understand what to dispute besides the items that we know that are in red, we're going to need to go log into the client's credit report, and we're going to need to be able to see what is on there, and what inquiries actually need to be disputed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up Identity IQ, and we're going to grab the client's login credentials. And if you don't have them saved in the internal notes, you can go to the Import and Audit tab, which is tab 1, and you can go down to the bottom where it says Client Credit Report Access Details, and you can see the client username and password. So we're going to go ahead and just take that information. We're going to type in their username, their password. I copy and paste a lot. And then now that we're logging in, we're going to just verify everything that is left on the credit report that still needs to be disputed. So we're going to view the most recent report. And if you scroll down with Identity IQ, the inquiries are very, very bottom. So we still have quite a bit of inquiries for this client because they have continuously applied for things during the credit repair process. So now we have this, and what we're going to do is we're just going to open this so it's side by side. We're going to go to generate letters. And again, if you are doing past round 2, sometimes the inquiries that are still on there. Okay, so we're going to select round 2. We're going to select credit bureau. Okay, so we're going to hit save pending item. And what we can do is just select 2 items. So we have a letter that go to each bureau. So we've got this, and we're just going to select Equifax so we can generate a letter for Equifax. We're not going to actually use anything there, so we're just going to put, whatever, just put something in there so it can save it. Okay, we're going to hit save and continue. We're going to select credit bureau letter. We're going to select a inquiry removal request letter, and we're going to generate the letter. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go right over to my spreadsheet, and I'm just going to copy the inquiries. You don't necessarily need the description. You just need the name and the date of the inquiry, the name and the date, and you only want to dispute the inquiries with who they are. So what I did is I've copied the information from my spreadsheet, and I'm just going to copy it and paste it right over here. And you don't necessarily need the name because we already know that they're getting the letters. So what we want to do is just put name and date, right? So you can put that on here. What I'll do is I will put that in my sheet here, and then I'll copy it over. So we've got 4 inquiries with Equifax, and I'm just going to delete these old ones I put in here. So there's a a clear understanding. Actually, what we could do too is actually put borders around there because you want to make it very easy for them to read. I am a firm believer that the easier it is, the better. Well, okay. And we're just going to make sure that everything looks good. Okay. Everything looks good. And it does. So now we are ready. So we've got all of our letters for Equifax. We got our letter for Experian. We got our letter for Transunion. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and save and continue to print. And this is going to be inquiry. I always use inquiry being INQ. And we're going to save all three letters. Okay. So that's a good way to be able to quickly get the inquiries that do remain on the credit report onto the dispute letters, because after you have been disputing for a while, you're not able to tell with the import what credit inquiries still remain on the credit profile unless you actually look at the credit report. The only thing that you really see is the new inquiries that get added to the credit profile. Okay. So we're going to look our latest letters, which let's just verify where they are. Now there's two options here. There's the view all letters, which we were just in, or view unprinted and unsent letters. So we're just going to concentrate on the unsent letters. We're going to select all three of those letters and we're going to hit next. And we are going to make sure that all letters have the attached documentation. We also want to make sure that we have added the report here. So, and sometimes if the information on the FTC report is old, you would need to create a new FTC report for the client just to get everything completed for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to next. You want to make sure that you render and preview a copy of the letter. So what I wanted to do is just verify with this client because I know that they moved and they have a new address, and that could, help, because if the inquiries are tied to like an old address, then of course we want to get that off. But in this case, we don't have a new proof of residency for the client yet. So we're going to reach out to the client, get a new proof of residency. But in the meantime, we still want to get these letters out. You want to make sure that your credit card utilization is very low. I recommend keeping it under 10% if possible, especially when you are in the process of applying for funding. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and view the most recent letters that we have here, and we're going to select those letters. We're going to hit next, and we're going to make sure that the documents that we have are in fact attached. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and render a preview, but first we're going to make sure that all documents are connected to all letters. So it says here round one letters. No, we want all letters, which it says not recommended, but if you don't, the proof documents won't be attached, and you do need to send proof documents with every single letter that you send to the credit bureaus, or else they just don't know who you are. Okay, so we're going to render a preview. We're going to preview it, and we're going to make sure that it populates properly. And in this case, we're going to try out the cloud mail today, so make sure that it works. So everything is now populated. Go to the next step. Always preview it and make sure that it populates properly. But for the sake of this video, we've already gone through that a little bit, and we're going to move on to the next step. So cloud mail. If you want to sign up for cloud mail, you can. We're going to go ahead and hit next. We're going to do it, and we're going to see how it goes. Okay. So I did try it the other day, and we're going to try it today. So with this, it'll give you the price that you're going to pay for this client. So because this letter has 4 pages, the total is going to be $1.16. That's still cheaper than what you would have to pay for postage, which is 55 cents for a stamp, plus you have to pay for someone's time, and that might be your time. So that's definitely worth it. So you can also save if you double print, but it's already on. So that's a pretty good price, $1.16 for 4 pages. And again, if you could put all your proof documents onto one page, that would make it cost a little less, because it does charge you per page. And right here, you can see all the pricing for that. If you wanted to send it certified, you can. I don't believe it's certified return receipt, but it's certified providing the timestamp proof of delivery. So it does say proof of delivery, which is what you're going to need if you want to start a case, but this is going to give you a confirmation as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit confirm. If you wanted to add credit, you can, but we're going to go ahead and confirm and send the letters. So now we've just sent all of the letters via Credit Repair Cloud, via the cloud mail, which just came out, literally just dropped on last Friday. And it says here, boom, you just saved 45 minutes of printing, folding, and stuffing. So now if you wanted to track all the letters for this client, you can click on this button here and you can track the statuses of the letter for the client. But in this client's case, they just got sent out. So, you can come back a few days later and check the statuses. You can also fax the letters to the credit bureaus that do accept fax. And those credit bureaus are Equifax for sure and Transunion. So I would call Transunion and confirm their fax number before you send anything, and just make sure, because there are fax numbers online, but those are often changed. So you can see right here, it's in production. You can hit this little tracking button to check out the statuses. That's my experience with Credit Repair Cloud. So I hope you enjoy that. In this video, we covered how to dispute, how to generate the letters in Credit Repair Cloud, how to use the cloud mail service, and so much more. So I hope you enjoy. My name is Nicole Scott. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment to our YouTube channel, Credit Coach Nicole Scott, where I teach you how to repair credit, how to use Credit Repair Cloud, and how to be financially fit. Take care.